This is an orthokeratology case where the patient is young, 8 years old, and is new to contact lenses. The posterior topography shows a little bit of lack of definition in the return zone, especially in the left eye, and the patient's also a little bit undercorrected, about a diopter and a quarter to diopter and a half residual myopia. And if we bring up the lenses, we'll see. Oh, one other comment on the posterior topographies, the centration looks really good, so no concerns there. Here are the original lenses that were dispensed to the patient, and patient has pretty flat corneas, 8.4 average K, 8.5 average K, and so I have found that these do mold a little bit. They're a little bit harder to mold. I'll usually use a slightly higher demand. For example, if I were to use a 1.4 for around a minus 350, I would even probably go up to 1.6 or so as a starting point. Um, Also, in this case, I would recommend reducing the OZ and IC. The posterior topographies show kind of a small treatment zone, but for younger patients, especially if the goal of the orthokeratology is for myopia control, a small treatment zone I've seen holds prescriptions a little bit better than a larger treatment zone. Issues with glare and halos at night, they are probably present, but young patients really don't notice them much. Hopefully they're not driving, especially at nighttime, and so it's not really a big deal for them. Vision quality-wise, they'll see well enough for school, and that smaller treatment zone tends to hold their myopia in check a little bit better. So what I'd recommend is I'll start with a pretty small. You're at 6.268. I'd go all the way down to maybe a 5.662. Let me double check the post-square refractions. So in the right eye, we had 1.25 diopters of residual myopia. So our new target is going to be around a 245. And if we drop this down, 5, 6, 6, 2, without changing the vertical position of the control points, pretty close already, 209. So we'll click up and there's 245. I do think it's a good idea to go around to the meridians and just even things out. And so we have a new lens, increased topo demand. It is really flat, 9.8 millimeters essentially, but for this type of cornea, I think that's what the patient's going to need to get full correction of the myopia. The treatment zone for the right eye looked okay. It had a little bit better definition than the left eye did. If you really want the topography to look a little bit better, you can maybe increase sag by a click or so, and then turn off the blending. And that will, not every time, but sometimes give you a sharper looking topography. That said, I'm of the philosophy that if the patient is seeing well, the topography looks acceptable, the cornea looks healthy, the aesthetics of the topography per se don't matter to me as much. In the left eye, there was a diopter and a half residual, so our new target will be 272. Again, I'm going to drop this down to 5.6 and 6.2. We're at 2, so we're going to have to go up a little bit. Overshot. Okay, we do have some funny kinks in the graph that we want to work out. In this side, I think we can add a little bit more sagittal depth to the lens to get it to seal in the periphery a little bit better, and that might give us a slightly better looking treatment zone. So let's go through again. And that's pretty different, so drop that down. Okay, so we're pretty close to 272 in all our meridians now. This lens, again, very flat, 10.22 millimeters centrally. Um, the other thing I would say about cases like this is patients will take a little bit longer to mold, starting with the flat cornea. So give it a couple of weeks, and hopefully your patient will be getting pretty close to plano and good vision. So best of luck, and thanks for watching.